Okay, hey, aloha everybody. This is obviously Brian. For those of you that are not familiar with me, they call me the Spellbreaker. You'll find out at the end of this video how to find out more. And for everybody else, about 2 weeks ago roughly, I was doing a session in one of my programs, and I had committed to do this 2-hour spell break session where just anybody that came on that wanted to do a spell break, as many as I could do, I would. And Jack Couzi over in France, everybody say hey to Jack, is a member in that program. He and I had never met, never communicated before, and he stepped up. And I was asking, so whenever someone stepped up and said they wanted to do a spell break on this webinar, I just said, what are you dealing with? And he typed in one word, and it was helplessness. And I said, man, normally I would want to hear a little bit more, but you know what? You're the guy. Come on. And he came on video, and he told me what he had been dealing with. And if you haven't seen that session, you really want to see that session. Now, depending on where you're seeing this video, I'm going to do my best to put a link everywhere this video goes so that you can see that spell break. It is a mind-boggling experience. And Jack had a miraculous, mind-melting breakthrough that you just got to see to believe. And the issue that he had been dealing with for a very long time was very profound. So, Jack, I'm very grateful for that experience with you. I'm super grateful that you were willing to come on and do this interview with me. And you are a hypnotherapist and acupuncturist doctor in France.
Yes.
56 years young. And you've told me, but just so everybody else knows, how many years, we'll talk about what your issue was, what you were challenged with, but how many years of self-help and personal development have you pursued?
I can say at the minimum 25 years of my life.
About 25 years. And to what financial extent what did you go to attempting and aiming and wanting to overcome these life issues?
So really, I tried so many self-help programs, so many coaching programs, so many spiritual, reunion. I tried it all, and if I can sum it up, it will be maybe more than $250,000.
Okay, and
in those programs.
Beautiful, and I really appreciate your honesty. Now, someone might think that, well, wow, what was he dealing with that could be that intense? Jack doesn't seem like some sucker, who's just flippantly just blowing money on seminars. There must have been something that you were dealing with. So, in a simple nutshell, would you share what it was that that you were trying to overcome?
Yeah, sure. It was like no matter what I was doing, no matter whom I was being with, I was feeling at some extent a sense of helplessness, a sense of being stuck. No matter what I can do, what I can choose, it will. Maybe I was feeling some relief from time to time, and I had some great experiences in my life, but there was very short periods, and only to jump into this helplessness vibration.
Yeah. And so would you mind sharing what it was that happened in early childhood that initiated all of this?
Yes, my first of all, I didn't know when we did the spell break, I was going right there, and it was really my willingness to to get rid of this once for all.
Yes.
And yeah, and my story began right from the beginning of my life, when my mom was giving birth to me, and she was bleeding so much. Then she eventually passed away, you know, and everybody was looking after her, and it was lasting for 6 hours to try to save her life, but they didn't, they couldn't do it, and I was left alone. Nobody was taking care of me.
Right at birth. Yeah, right at birth.
Right at birth, and I was crying as a baby. I was just crying my heart out, uh, and nobody was looking after me because they were so busy trying to save my mom.
Yeah.
And and um, and also after that, I was really, my dad was really very sad and very angry at the same time. And all this sadness and anger, he just projected on me. And he was, like being very mean to me, bullying me all the time, make me feel guilty, make me feel, like I don't have the right to do what I want, because I just had to listen to his will and just be a perfect child, which is impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really impossible if you ask a child to be perfect right from the get-go. So you are putting so much pressure in his life, and this is basically what was my life right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
really, I'm not going to more details. It was
Good enough.
really a lot of shit.
That's
okay.
That's super clear. And any, in my work, I find that being yelled at one time as a small child by the parent who loves you, who feeds you, who takes care of, being yelled at one time can be enough to derail someone's life. It can create, we look at it now and say, oh, it's no big deal, I got yelled at. To a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, by the parent who loves you. And they generally, if they don't have the presence afterwards to really love you through it and communicate through it and establish that I love you, I freaked out for a minute, I'm sorry. I see people whose life become derailed by one traumatic incident. And we, of course, we all have many. That, Jack, is, no matter how you slice it, that's extreme. To have your mom exit her life basically at your birth, you're left alone for 6 hours while they're trying to save her, and you are in the room experiencing that. Babies are way more present, way more conscious and aware than we have any idea. You knew what was going on in that room to a very profound level, all the fear and upset and anxiety. And then to have your dad, when you were in that position and you're being told to be perfect, and here you were dealing with the trauma that never got addressed coming up through your childhood. Now, I thought I had a tough one, but you really picked one there, bro. You picked an experience. And so, for those of you that know me, you know what I mean by that. And then you went on this, multi-decade personal development, self-help, energy journey yourself to overcome it. And the fact that I don't know how long our spell break was. I'm gonna make a wild guess that it was 15 minutes, maybe 20. And you literally had this complete life revolution experience. Now, I'm proud of what I do. I'm so grateful for what I do, and I am so freaking ecstatic for you. And so what would you say from your side? What happened during that 15 or 20 minutes? Like from the energy perspective, I was this way and suddenly I was that way. What happened for you, Jack?
Quite frankly, right now, And up until now, I'm not understanding how this shift came and where it came from. it was it was really it just happened, you know. And and I was watching this spell break over and over, and my goodness, uh, you know what, you for the first time of my life, somebody was holding the space for me and understanding, and at the same time not making me feel like, oh, so sorry and something like, no, no, it was, you gave me a a whole new perspective on my whole story, you know. And and what helped me a lot also, that I was really breathing deeply.
Yes.
So this helped a lot also to make the big shift, I think, because I was in total receptivity.
Yeah.
And um, I was I was trusting you. I was trusting you because I watched the conscious creation program and watched it over and over. And yeah, um, I was I knew that you were you were really delivering so much love, so much presence, and this helped me a lot, really a lot. And to from a vibrational perspective, I was sensing that when you were doing the spell break, my my energy was coming back and shifting to to really a sense of freedom. And I was feeling the release in my body, in my energy, and in my psyche.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Now this was about a week and a half ago, roughly. Is that about
Yeah,
right?
roughly, yeah, about 10 days from now,
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay. Now, 30 something years, and this is where I like to really make the point, okay? 25 to 30 years of deep exploration. You went at it to the tune of $250,000. You tried basically everything. You were not dabbling. You were not bullshitting. You were very
Yeah,
serious. You
yeah.
experienced many of the gurus, some of the greatest personal dev minds and programs and seminars, etc. What has your life been like since the spell break, and what's different for you?
um yeah, my mm, my life, until the spell break, was like a never ending battle, you know. like uh, like I was trying very hard, and really, I was not kidding about this self development. I was mm, so much into it and so much wanting to find solutions. and and I evolved. I can say I evolved, but mm, mm, to some extent it was showing, some results were showing in my life. But my life was really frustration, um, and a sense of everything has to be hard, has to be everything has to be hard earned. And also my perspective uh, of the world was, I was living in a hostile world,
Mm.
you know? um, even though I was so spiritual and still I am, uh, but this is this was not helping me that much, you know. At at some level, I was a very good spiritual person, but disconnected from my story, from my emotions, and what I was really deep feeling inside of me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then from thank you for that. And then since that moment, what has been different for you?
So a lot of things were different. The first thing was a sense of a big relief in my way of perceiving the whole world. Uh, I shifted from I'm living in a hostile world, which was only my experience, uh, to a world where I can choose what I want to experience. Because I was not holding and I was no longer stuck in fear, because I was dealing with so much insecurity at the root, you know, and I was no longer stuck in fear. I was having this great relief and more joy, really more joy. Everybody who saw me after that told me, "Oh, you look great. What did you did?" Oh, I said I took the weekend off. It was nice.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah.
and yeah, and other things shifted at the same time, because I noticed that even though I worked a lot on myself, I was still um, trying to figure out things from a state of being a victim, you know.
Yeah.
And, and this victimhood mentality was really unconscious, was a pattern
Yeah.
I was holding to, you know,
Yes.
because the uh, and the spell break we did together allowed me to quit once for all this victim, being a victim of my world,
Let
of
me
my
let me let me interrupt, Jack. This is super important. Forgive me and don't. Okay, this is super important because there were a couple questions I felt coming up, and this is one of them. So it's just super important. How many of the programs that you've seen and taken and seminars and things that you dove in, how many of them told you to stop being a victim and said that they would help you stop being a victim and offered the promise of helping you stop being a victim? Like you've seen that hundreds of times, correct?
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes,
And
yes.
and something happened. None of them fully either none of them fully delivered on that 100%, or it didn't quite work for you up until that moment. Have you had a moment of victimhood return since that, or do you feel like that's dealt with permanently from that one spell break?
It is permanent, I can say, because I was really wanting to be aware if this kind of victimhood mentality is going to show up. No way,
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's the thing.
no way.
That root issue. So when you consider right now and you look back, just like at the end of the spell break, I had you look back at the issue that was so upsetting and see how you feel. When you contemplate it right now, how do you feel?
To be honest,
Yeah.
I kind of laugh at myself believing this whole story as I was figuring it out before, you know?
Beautiful.
Because, okay, it was just an experience.
Yep. And it doesn't have to be terrible. It doesn't have to ever affect you in any way, shape, or form. And there's something about that. So this is, for someone who's new to this work, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to interview Jack about this. So where I come from is, I call it the level 5 paradigm. It's a completely different way of looking at the universe that actually works. And when you align with this way of seeing literally every issue, every problem, every flaw, every issue in your life, every issue relating to sex and money and business and relationships, all of it, even global stuff, just falls away. And it is that perspective change. It's that level 5 perspective change that you had sought for all those years and all that. And in a few minutes, the whole thing completely shifted. And when you check back now, it's like, nope, it's gone. It's done. And so you say people are responding to you differently. You're responding to everything differently. And one of the biggest questions I know that people have is, okay, well, I've had breakthroughs before too, but they usually don't last. Like the stuff, life comes back in. And you're saying that has not happened for you. You feel it's permanent, you know it's permanent, and there hasn't even been a shadow. That's freaking awesome, man. So if someone were thinking of, I do 4-day small intimate events here in Hawaii. On rare occasions, I do one-on-one work with people, where people come spend 4 days with me here one-on-one, or they fly me to them around the world. I help them, and in 4 days, can you imagine if we did it in 15 minutes, Jack? Just imagine. So I have a lot of other programs, but just if someone was thinking about, wow, I've already tried everything, and I don't know, that Brian stuff sounds kind of woo-woo, and I've already tried everything and nothing's worked. And they were thinking about working with me. They were just thinking about it. Sitting on the fence, and they asked you for your honest opinion of me, my work, and what's different. What would you say?
Yeah. Quite honestly, I have to say you are brilliant. Really. Because when I watching the Spellbreak, I noticed that I'm a doctor, I'm a hypnotherapist, I've done a lot of that work, but you are really brilliant, because first of all, you are listening so profoundly, and at the same time holding the right energy that I needed. And this, I don't know, maybe you are doing some kind of intuitive work, because you are right to the point every second of this spell break. My goodness, it was mind-boggling. Oh, really? I'm really talking with total honesty,
Yeah.
And the second thing, that you are how to say, you are finding the right words at the right time, at the right pace, and you are also following my energy all the time. And you are not looking at me, telling me, "Oh, poor baby," and something like that, because so many therapists, they do this. They think that they are in kind of empathy or something like that, but this doesn't help that much. You were at the whole time of the spell break, you are empowering me right from the get-go. I felt empowered in my choices, and every single part of it I am watching it over and over just to understand what happened.
Good luck. Well, you know, that's great because I bet you're getting more out of it every time too, aren't you?
Yes, yeah, really.
Man, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for the spell break with you, Jack. I'm so grateful you showed up when you did. I'm so grateful you found the book, got in the everything about it. I'm so grateful for this interview. And when I think of how many people can be touched, like people that experience severe trauma as a child, they've gone through all the self-help that skims the surface and touches deep for a moment, who feel like there's no hope. And like you're living proof that it doesn't matter how deep the trauma is, doesn't matter how big the event was, because there's not much bigger, quite frankly, as far as the emotional impact on your life. There's not much more impactful than what you experienced. And the fact is, it's fucking gone. It's fucking gone. Yes. And you're shining like the sun, man. Not only are you sitting in the sun, you're shining like the sun, just like everybody's telling you. So I have one final question. This one's just open. Is there anything else that you feel as a therapist yourself, okay, as a hypnotherapist, as someone with decades of self-help work and experience and energy, knowledge, Chinese medicine, acupuncture, with the massive insight that you have and experience, it's just anything else that you feel to say that would bless or benefit you to express it, or that might really bless someone that's hearing this?
Yes. I have to say too many things, but I would say two things, if you, with your permission.
Please.
The first one is when you change your story, you change your whole world, and you change your relationships to life, to others, and to yourself, and it's definitely worth it. The second thing I want to say, that it's more of a testimony that I was stuck in my career and up until now, and not having the courage to step out of the routine and take a leap of faith and figure it out a very more expensive career and something really bold. And now, after the spell break, I'm feeling the energy, the enthusiasm, the courage, the determination, you name it. You really name it. I'm going to do it also.
Let's do this, man. I am even more grateful for you sharing it. Let's do this. Let's you and I, when we're done, we'll set a date. I know you and I are going to be communicating because you're in the program, okay? Let's plan to communicate 30 days, 90 days, and we'll update the magnitude of what has changed in your life and what you're doing in your career. I'm also very curious about what's going to happen in your relationships, because as you may recall, at the end of that, I said, I'm going to make a wild guess that the intimacy in your relationships has been nowhere near what you want. And you said, oh my God, I know it's already changed, and I really want to hear about that. So thank you very much, Jack. I love you, my brother. I appreciate you very much, man.
Me too.
All righty. Thanks for sharing that with everybody else, and I will see you soon, brother.
Thank you.